y'all. Thank you guys for being here. Tonight we have a lot to talk about, and this is going to be very interesting. I've already listened to this on my own, but I want to listen to it and discuss it with you guys. I would leave my camera on, but I'm outside. You can't see me that well, and you're all going to see me like bugs are going to be flying up my nose and everything like last night, so probably better if I have it off. But yeah, so tonight we have a lot to talk about. You guys know Stephan Stearns took a plea deal for both of his cases, and we've seen, so like Florida releases so much evidence. We saw a lot before it was ever going to even make it to trial. But this is so interesting because Stephan's dad called into a YouTube channel, Guilty of Crime, and he gave his explanation of what happened that day, the day that Maddie was reported missing. The channel is in the description box, but really it's interesting because this is what I imagine would have been like his testimony at trial. This is his experience from that day. And Jay let him talk, just let him talk, which was cool. So we're going to listen to that together. Just that one part of her video. Her channel's linked in the description. But first, let me show you guys. So I think most of you know. Let me see if I can pull it up in no, I'm going to have to do the entire screen. Okay, so most of you guys know I worked on a timeline for this case. So I want to pull that up. I have linked it at the top of the chat. You have to be a Patreon member, but you can be a free member to have access to any court docs, timelines, things like that. And once you click on it, it will be interactive. The links and stuff in it, you can click. I just double checked. It might ask you, are you sure you trust this link? Go into YouTube or whatever. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Let me pull that up. I'm going to say hello to you guys and then we'll get started. Hey, Cray Cray. The mom is awful trying to blame Maddie and not her son. Well, that body cam footage, and this is something that was talked about right prior to him coming on, or maybe when he does, that was taken in the beginning. This that we're going to listen to is what he just said like a week or two ago. So I think their thoughts have changed a little bit. And I haven't actually even seen the full body cam. So I can't even, I saw the quote on the thumbnail and I saw parts of it, but can't really comment on that yet. But I do want to watch it. Crystal, good to see you. Harley, Tess, Aunt Cray, hey, Neat, Sinistra, Teacup, Toe Beans, good to see you. Solo Rider, let's see, Erica, hey, good to see you. Lisa, Nurse Kristen, Brandy, I saw Bindi and Nay in here. I'm so excited to see Nay. She has probably been a very busy girl and hasn't been here too much, but I've missed you. 7 Lilies. Okay, Midnight Lice. Okay, so good to see all you guys and anybody I missed. I apologize. Sprinkle Donut, J13, Connie, poor Linda. Good to see you guys. All right, so now I want to get into this. Again, this is a tough case. It's probably a good thing it never made it to trial because I think it would be traumatizing to Maddie's family, to the people in the courtroom, to the jurors, to the judge. And, even though we want to see and hear people's testimonies, who cares about that when it comes to, Maddie's family, her dad, her stepmom, and they've already lived through enough. So I'm glad it didn't, but like I said, this is what I imagine his dad's testimony would be like. But first, let's take it all the way back to the timeline. And if you want to pull it up, as the link at the top of the chat is just the time. It's like the post. It's not the entire Patreon. It's just that post. Let's see. I like that you can share documents and stuff over there. So 2017, they worked together. There are some things I need to adjust on this. And it's constantly been adjusted along the way, but especially regarding there's nothing about his plea or anything like that, where he's going to be located. At the end of this, in the next day or two, I'll have, links about his plea deal, the hearing, the proceedings that took place. And I'll also put some information about where he's going to be located for the rest of his life. So 2018, Stephan starts staying with Jen and they start hooking up and sleeping at her house. Then we have 3 dates here in June and July, and these were taken from the indictment. So that's why I put them in blue, just so they would be kind of separate from all the other dates here. So that's the first one that we know about from 2019, June of 2019. 2020, Jen moves in with mom. Then they have a Port Charlotte move. Stephan was offered a job that doesn't go through. They were there for a few months and then back to mom's house. Jen then moves back into her dad's, and Stephan eventually comes there. So then we get to February of 2022 when Maddie turns 11. She turned 11 on the 22nd. She didn't have her party until the 25th. Oh, I'm sorry. This is in 2024 when she turns 13. But one of the abuse allegations in the indictment actually occurred on her birthday. I confused myself because she went missing right after her 13th birthday. So some more dates from the indictment where abuse was taking place. And I'm guessing, they took the dates from the pictures and the phone. I don't know about that, but all these were listed in the indictment. We know in the middle of this here, Stephan moves upstairs in June of 2023. More dates from the indictment. And now we get to her 13th birthday. So February 22nd, 2024, Maddie turns 13. February 25th, Maddie has her birthday party. Now, I want to walk through this. It's brief, but before we listen to this interview, I think it's important. So we remember what took place that day. And we remember because Stephan's dad is going to talk about from the point he's notified about, the tire and all this kind of stuff. But I want you guys to remember what happened just before that. So 11:39 p.m., Jennifer texts Stephan, make sure she goes to bed right now. He replies, okay, sweetie, good night. She replies, good night, all at 11:39. He then messages her at 11:40. She's built her nest and she's settling in now. And she replies, okay, good. Sometime between bedtime and the next morning, Stephan took Maddie's life. And then I put an excerpt from the police report. All of this comes straight from police documents. And those are uploaded on Patreon too on the free tier. So February 26, 2024 at 7:30 a.m. Stephan is seen driving his vehicle to the dumpster in Venetian Bay. He's wearing a red shirt and tan pants. Stephan exits the vehicle and throws away 2 large white trash bags. In the passenger seat of his vehicle is a white female wearing a green sweatshirt with her head slumped over to the left. The positioning of the female does not appear to be normal, and she doesn't move while Stephan is exiting or entering the vehicle. The female appears to be Madeline. At 8:10, he is driving south on John Young Parkway, approaching Thacker Avenue, and Maddie's still in the front seat. At 8:19, he enters the apartment complex and exits the rear at 8:31, and she is still in the front seat in the same position. At 9:01, he's seen driving north on the International Drive and Central Florida Parkway. Maddie is still in the front passenger seat in the same position. This confirms that Stephan did not drop Madeline off at or near school as he previously stated. On February 26th at 9:35 a.m., Stephan is driving into the parking garage of South John Young Parkway. He drives up to the second level and parks near the northeast corner of the lot. Stephan backs his vehicle into a parking space by the stairs. Stephan exits his vehicle and walks towards the rear of his vehicle and opens the trunk. At 9:41, he is seen placing Madeline, who is wearing a green sweatshirt and blue pants, in the trunk of his vehicle. Stephan then exits the parking garage. Then, at 10:14, he goes into the apartment complex yet again, and Maddie is no longer in the front seat. So from 9:41 to 10:14, remember, she's in the trunk at this point because he hasn't had time to where he gets the flat tire. Let me just keep reading. And because the details are important and I don't want to mess up. I just want to read it straight from, like I said, this is an excerpt from police documents. But 10:54, he's seen driving to the dumpster and throwing away more trash. 11:22, he then drives to a vape store. He makes a purchase and leaves shortly afterwards. His vehicle then travels on Highway 192 towards St. Cloud, Florida. His vehicle is captured on several traffic cameras as well as license plate readers. Then, so from 11:22, when he's seen at the vape store, and then he travels on this highway, at 1:16, he's seen driving on Old Hickory Tree Road. Stephan passes Hickory Tree Elementary at 1:17 p.m. So 2:11, he's driving west on Highway 192. His vehicle now has a spare tire on the rear driver's side. Okay, so that's at 2:11. At 3:21, he is back at the apartment complex throwing away more trash in the dumpster. At 3:18, Jennifer's vehicle is seen driving on Highway 192 through Kissimmee to St. Cloud. It takes the exact same path as Stephan. At 3:35, her vehicle is seen driving south on Old Hickory Tree Road. Turning west again on Highway 192, the vehicle then returns to Venetian Bay at approximately 4:30. 4:30 p.m. Jen goes to the middle school to get Maddie. Maddie doesn't come out, and Jen just, leaves, starts freaking out. I've always found it strange she didn't go into the school. She goes to her mom's house and a couple other places she's looking for Maddie. Maddie's not reported missing until 8 p.m. that night. Then Stephan drives to St. Cloud the next morning. Okay, so this is what we're going to hear his dad talk about. All of this stuff from this day. And I just think it's so important to not forget these details. And look, Stephan's dad did not commit this crime. Stephan's mom did not commit this crime. And honestly, I'm glad that they're speaking. His dad, for instance, turned in the hard drive, that had 30,000 images of CSAM on it. And so I'm trying to be gentle with his parents. It can be difficult at times because we know what he's capable of. But at the end of the day, I just think this might be what we would have seen during a trial. So let me pull up this, and then I'm going to check on you guys in the comments, and then we'll get right into this call. Again, guilty of crime. The link is in the description. Put you on here real quick. All right, hold on. We're going to listen to this, but we're going to only listen to this part. I'm going to speed it up just slightly. That's how I listened to it earlier. And yeah, I find this very interesting. All right, let me check on you guys. MK, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, MK. I appreciate that. Okay. Jen's car takes the same route, but Kimberly, he was driving it. But yes, I think he would have done a much better job hiding her if not for that flat. I want to know what happened with the flat. I really do. Like, did it happen because we know where she was located and she was in this brush? Like, did it happen from trying to drive in there? I don't know. I just wish that we knew more about that. Hey, Oz. Good to see you. It is rage-inducing. Okay, you guys. So, all right, here we go. We're going to listen to this. Like I said, she really just lets him talk. And I wish maybe I should change the color of these closed captions because they're kind of hard to see. Just one second. Let's see. Subtitles. Options. There we go. We drop this off. Thank you for if you guys want to go watch, like, they talk a lot more in this. There's people who call in. This is not the only communication she's had with the parents. I think that they trust her and they've watched her coverage. She calls Stephan what he is, so if you want to see more of that, she's interviewed them other times and stuff like that. And that's over on her channel. Again, it's linked in the description. All right, let's get right in.
I actually like your dad jokes, man. Hold on. Let me put this on the right thing so I don't share your number. I don't want to be a goof.
I know.
All right.
I remember that.
Come on, Dad. Don't make him tell you again. All right, Chris, we got you. Can you guys hear him? I can hear you. That's all.
J13, it is hard to listen to, and I'm sorry. It's important, in my opinion, because we can't put our head in the sand and pretend this shit doesn't happen. But it is hard to listen to. If you get the timeline at the top of the chat in that post, you can just become a free member, grab the timeline and save it. And then you can go through. I've linked a bunch of the stuff on there, and just when you can read through it and go through it and watch some of the interviews that were put out and things like that at your own speed. Hey, Looking Beyond. All right.
I can hear you.
All right. What do you got?
Mr. Christopher Sturk.
So I'm going to share with you the events that took place on that Monday.
Okay.
See, I'm going to share with you the events that took place on that Monday. I find it really interesting. This was recent. This just happened within the last 2 weeks. You know, maybe because the trial's not happening, he feels like, I don't know.
And then kind of take you through the days afterwards.
Okay.
So I get a call about 1:15, 1:17 from Stephan.
G13, I'm
and
so sorry.
his voice sounds a little off. And then we chat a little bit, nothing of any consequence. And then he says, "Oh, I had a flat tire." Oh. Really? Where'd you have a flat tire? 192. Oh, okay. Now that's a very busy highway. It's a 4-lane highway. Maybe it's even 6-lane, but it's a very busy highway. A lot of commercial businesses there. And so he tells me that he ran the tire off the rim. I go, "You what?" On a busy highway with commercial businesses all over the place. Why didn't you just pull in the parking lot? Well, I was in the inside lane and I just couldn't get over. Okay. Lie number one.
Right.
So anyway, I said, well, take it straight over to the tire place.
Lie number one. Dad is immediately like, huh? A little suspicious in my opinion. Teacup, thank you so much for gifting and welcome to whoever got it. I wish StreamYard would show us. Thank you, Teacup. Lie number one. Okay.
And I'm sitting there adding up the dollars and cents this is going to cost me because not only do you have to replace the tire, you have to replace the whole rim.
Right.
So it's going to be a very expensive repair. So I take it over there and get the tire fixed because it's one of these temporary tires. You only get.
Dad's counting how much it's going to cost, not Stephan, who's he's not paying for his own shit.
50 miles to drive on the thing.
Right.
So we ended the conversation, and then a few hours later, it was just a few minutes before 5. And I know the exact time because when the phone rang, I looked at the phone to see who it was.
Right.
And I said, wow, 4:54. I said, this is really kind of strange. The hair on the back of my neck went up because now I'm getting 2 calls from him.
Right.
In the same afternoon. And keep in mind, when Stephan went away, you very rarely ever heard from him.
Right. Right.
He was only gone for a temporary amount of time, and you would never hear from him. Now I hear from him twice in one afternoon.
Right.
So he starts to tell me, well, I'm on my way over to Jen's mother's office because something happened with Maddie. Maddie wasn't in school all day.
Right.
And then he proceeds to tell me that he dropped her off, gave me the whole scenario, just like the story that we've all heard.
Right. The script.
Drove off, could see her, fidgeting around in her purse, explained to me why he dropped her off where he did, because she didn't want to be seen being dropped off in that car.
Same old, same story that they told everybody.
And then just tells me this whole story.
Right.
So, later that evening, he calls me up and, really is now playing this hard.
Right.
Playing this story hard. And he's telling me, how concerned he is that this area of town is notorious for child abductions, for sex trafficking.
Oh my God.
And, so
yeah,
I'm now going to bed thinking the worst case scenario for Maddie, that she's in some kind of shipping container crammed in there with a bunch of other young girls.
Oh my God.
No place.
That wasn't the worst case scenario, though, was it? Because she would still be alive. I know that his dad spoke out before with police, like in his interviews, and he said the fact that both this flat tire and Maddie going missing at the same time, like that was red flags. He immediately noticed that, what's the chances of both of these things happening like this? Which is interesting.
That could be real in Florida, right? I mean, that's a good story to sell. Yeah. Right.
But this is the story he's played out with me.
Right.
So, thinking back on that, I accept him that something's happened to Maddie.
Right.
At that point, I don't know what's going on because I'm not local. I'm not there to be with him per se and know exactly what the truth is and what isn't.
Right.
And so, I go to bed thinking the worst things. And I hear from Stephan later Tuesday, the next day, late in the afternoon, maybe early evening,
I agree.
telling me that they've been displaced from the townhome. They're not allowed to be in there, and that the police are there searching the house.
Okay.
And then they're calling, and first they're calling me on Jen's phone, which is unusual.
Right.
Now, remember, this is the day where they're sitting outside, like trying to come up with a story together because Jen admits this, right? Because she claimed that she thought police were on him for the wrong reasons, that they were creating like this false story of what happened and blaming him, even though it wasn't really him. And she felt that was unfair. I don't know. It's very bizarre that the dynamic with Jen and Stephan, I'm still not sure about. I think that it does speak volumes. She hasn't been charged with anything. We know that police were very angry with her. I think they would have charged her if they could. I don't believe that she played a part in what happened. I think that she was just selfish, over-medicated, and wasn't paying attention. But I could be wrong. But there are some things that make me wonder if I am wrong, and we're going to hear about some.
So then I come to find out that Stephan, they've asked for Stephan's phone, and he
maybe solo rider
gave it to the police. And I said, well, is there any reason why you wouldn't? There was a pause. And then he said, no.
Right.
I said, well, okay, you got nothing to worry about. I wish I had been aware of the news interview Tuesday morning because my conversation and tone with Stephan at that time, because I'm just still gathering facts myself, trying to understand what's taking place, and all I've got to go by is what he's telling me.
Right.
But I wish I'd seen that interview that Tuesday morning because I would have seen right through it, just like everybody else did.
See? Don't feel like he's trying to take any blame from Stephan. I don't think that they believe he was the only person involved in this, but he definitely seems to be facing the reality that he did this. And in the news interview, you could tell, and, lie after lie after lie, like realizing that he's telling all those lies.
Right.
And so then I guess that call Tuesday was around 7 p.m. and about 10 o'clock, 10:15, I turned in, phone rings, and now it's Stephan again. And he said, can you come up to Orlando? And I said, yeah, like now? He said, yeah. I said, why? He said, well, just for support. I said, okay.
For financial support?
Yeah, really.
Well, I don't know if it was financial. It wasn't asking for money.
Oh, okay. I thought you rented it. I guess I thought you rented the hotels. I guess I can ask you that question.
No, they paid their own, but I did pay for the dog to stay.
Okay. All right.
Which is equivalent to a room.
Right.
Daddy had to pay for the dog. Daddy had to pay for the flat tire fix. Mommy and Daddy, hell, even now with this stupid hard candies and gel and stuff, they've been taking care of him all along.
Okay.
It's $150.
Right.
$150 for a dog to stay at a hotel. I did not know that. What? This is Jay from Guilty of Crime, and she has a few other interviews with them, and the link is in the description.
First of all, they had called me several times after I agreed to come up about locating a hotel. And Jen said, "Oh, I found one. It's a town plaza, and it's a real affordable rate."
Oh my God,
got out there and found out it was twice the money, and dogs stay free. No, dogs didn't stay free. So I agreed to pay for the dog.
Right.
So now this is 2:00 in the morning. I get up. Well, actually, let me go back. So we're talking around 7 o'clock, and then we talk a few more times, and we talk about where we're going to stay, yada yada. So I get up, and now I got to pack a bag, and I'm going to jump in the shower real quick. And
I mean, I do got to say, seems to be pretty good dad, right? Just ready to come and be there for support.
I turned to Debbie when I was getting ready, and I turned to her and I asked her a question. So, do we really know our son?
Oh.
This is before he even gets up there, before he knows that he's going to be accused or anything. And he looks at Debbie and says, do we really know our son? That's the timing of that.
And
Which we had heard
because
that
now
before.
I'm starting to have a lot of doubt and suspicion. If I had seen that interview Tuesday morning, I would have already answered my own question. But I didn't. So 2:15, 2:20, we get checked in, go to Stephan's room after I get in my room. And he's either acting or he's really acting like, or he's almost passing out because he's so exhausted.
Right.
And,
He's almost
and,
passing
he was
out.
cold. He was shaking. I went and got a blanket out of the closet, put it around him.
He's almost passing out. He was cold and shaking. Oh my God, just gag me right now for real. That makes me sick. Like he's this poor little. No, he's a grown ass fucking man. And he's scared to damn death because he knows he's about to spend his life in prison for what the fuck he's done. And not only what he's done, but what he's been doing to her for years. Sorry, I need to take a chill pill, but this enrages me. It's really hard to. And it's not the parents' fault. They seem to be good parents. They seem to admit that he was wrong. And I can understand like supporting your child regardless, right? But when they're wrong, admitting, not, I don't hear him like making excuses, but he's not this poor little boy. He was sick, shaking, cold because his ass was about to get caught for all the dirty shit he had been doing to this precious little girl for years, starting when she was itty bitty, okay? 8 years old.
I said, I'll get a good night's sleep. I'll see you in the morning. So I turned in at 2:30. Now
We're
I find out afterwards, within an hour, he was out of the out of the room. I guess he went to the Kissimmee, then he went to St. Cloud, and then he came down to Northport.
Yeah.
I go, I learned all this Wednesday evening. When I finally get a chance to sit down with the police, and they're asking questions, and I'm giving them information. I have nothing to hide.
That's reasonable. So
completely open about and honest about my questions and what have you. But I get a call from Jen at 9:45. Now I got up early with only a few hours sleep and went over to the office in Orlando, and I get a call from her at 9:45. Do you know where Stephan is?
Now, remember, he went back out. I think he left at like 4 a.m. And he takes that long drive to Northport and stuff. And this is when he's in the storage building. Gosh, it's all coming back to me. It's been a minute. We should have read through the whole timeline because it's been a minute since I've looked at this closely. But you're about to get into that next morning. And then, remember, they go to the press conference and Stephan gets arrested and Jen goes with his dad. I just want to say, I'm not frustrated. Like, I don't want to be nasty towards his parents. So if I'm coming across that way, I apologize. It's not towards them. It is towards him, though. He's just a disgusting monster. And I'm not going to mince my words when it comes to what he's done. And, yeah.
What do you mean, do I know where he is? Where is he? Well, he's not here.
You're like, I thought we were in the same hotel, right?
Yeah. I said, well, maybe he's down in the lobby. Have you checked the lobby? No. I said, well, go down the lobby. Maybe he's down in the lobby. And then we hung up. And then a minute later, I go, wait a minute. I call her back and I said, do you have your keys? Well, she makes this rustling noise in her purse. And then she says, no. I said, okay. Where did he go? He's got the car. So then, and so I just hung up and I said, well, call me if he shows up. And then she calls back about 15 minutes later. Oh, I just got a call from the sheriff's department. Detectives are coming over here. They want to ask some questions.
Okay.
The way he said that was interesting, right? It was kind of like, detectives are coming over here, like she was scared, like she sounded scared or something. And we see here on the screen, Deborah Stearns, Chris is a night owl. That's me. Chris is not a night owl. I'm sorry. That's me.
And so I just hung up and I said, well, call me if he shows up. And then she calls back about 15 minutes later. Oh, I just got a call from the sheriff's department. Detectives are coming over here. They want to ask some questions.
Okay.
I said, okay. Well, what time did they say they'd be there? Within an hour. So, okay, I'll come over. So I walked over there. And I'm waiting around. It's now almost 11 o'clock. And Stephan finally walks in.
Right.
And you're like, where have you been? Oh, I've been out driving around and I got lost. Okay. And I didn't have a GPS and I didn't have my phone. And I said, okay.
And got lost. I didn't have GPS.
He crashed and went to bed. Now, I drove up there to be there in support. And the amount of time that I got there from 2 o'clock Wednesday morning, 2:30 a.m. until 3:15 that afternoon, I had spent the equivalent of 30 minutes with him.
I'm really curious why he did want him there for support. What do you guys think about that?
In increments.
Right.
You would think he would be ashamed, like he's thinking I might get caught for what I've been doing, and he's ashamed and wouldn't want him there.
Never a solid time together.
Right.
And so then I was downstairs and saw the detectives that arrived, walked over and introduced myself to them and chatted with them a bit, and then Stephan came down, Jen came down, and they said, well, we're going to escort you to this news press.
This is the press conference I'm talking about. Stephan gets arrested at this time. Well, yeah, he gets into questioning. I think, here, let me just let it.
There's going to be an announcement of some sort. I said, oh, okay. So the police and detective said, no, we're going to escort Jen and Stephan. Okay. Oh, okay. Can I follow? Yeah, no problem. So I gave Stephan a spare phone. That's the last time I saw that phone.
Okay. That's where the phone came in. Okay.
So then just as they're arriving, I get a call from Stephan, and he says, detective wants you to turn left to go to the lobby. We're going to go back this way. Well, I should have suspected something then, but I'm sitting out front waiting to get in to go to this news conference, and, nothing. And finally, by the time I get in, and I'm, texting people and calling people, I'm not getting anything. I get up there, and the whole thing is over.
Oh, shit.
Because Jen finds out what's been going on, and they take him in to question him and arrest him. That he's finally arrested, I think, at midnight, if I remember correctly. You guys correct me though if I'm wrong.
So now I go back downstairs, and I've got Sailor, the dog. It was my sister's dog that they brought back. That they were supposed to just put the dog in rescue, but they wanted to bring the dog back, so now they inherited the dog. So I'm babysitting Sailor, and I'm sitting out there for hours trying to find out what's going on. And this is when I start getting text messages from Jen.
Okay.
The infamous one, they found, it said, get Stephan an attorney.
Okay, hold on. Now, let me just rewind it a second, because this is right after the press conference. It's over. He misses it, and he's got the dog.
It was my sister's dog that they brought back. That they were supposed to just put the dog in rescue, but they wanted to bring the dog back, so now they inherited the dog. So I'm babysitting Sailor, and I'm sitting out there for hours trying to find out what's going on. And this is when I start getting text messages from Jen.
Okay.
Sitting there for hours just waiting, not hearing from anybody. And
the infamous one, they found, it said, get Stephan an attorney. Okay, and text back, why? Well, they found explicit photos on his phone.
This isn't new information. We knew this, right? We've heard this in the police interviews, clear as day. We know we've heard her talk about it with, what was his name? Detective Kevin. I'm still so furious hearing it. Like, excuse me? Get Stephan a lawyer. They found explicit photos on his phone, but she still doesn't think that he has anything to do with Maddie being missing. Maddie is currently missing right now. You find out all this is taking place, and your thought is to get his parents to get him an attorney? Kevin O'Malley. Right, Michelle. I love him too. He was excellent. He did a great job. Excuse me? And Kevin O'Malley, tells her all about herself with this and how much bullshit it is, and tries to understand why, and like she said, she claims that she thought police were unfairly targeting him, and, he could be, this is where that got twisted all to hell from the news articles and stuff, where she said, I know that I know that he did this, but I don't think he's capable of doing anything evil, or something like that. I know he'd do this, but he wouldn't do anything evil, like taking her or taking her life. And remember, so many people were like, huh? But what you're saying that he did is evil as well. So what do you mean?
Oh, no.
Okay, I go WTF. Okay.
Right.
WTF.
And that was the extent of it. And then I'm trying to text her, find out when they're going to let her go, where they can come out and talk to me. Now, keep in mind, I still think that Maddie's missing.
Right.
That she didn't make it to school.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of anything else.
Yeah, they didn't seem to fill you in on much. They kept that same scripted story between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, in the meantime, the police have got all this video of Stephan driving around town.
Yeah.
Got the video of him emptying the stuff out of the backpack, driving Maddie around all over the place. Went up to I drive up to the parking lot to move her from the front of the car to the trunk.
Right. Yes.
They got his ass nailed. I've always
They got his ass nailed. He literally, I read to you guys our timeline at the beginning. It's pinned at the top so you guys can go through it. He knows this timeline of events right here. He's telling you when he moved her to the trunk. They have it all on camera. There's cameras everywhere.
So then, in the meantime, the police have got it.
I get rowdy, y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm passionate. I get passionate. If it's something I'm passionate about, I have a hard time not getting rowdy. And I don't know.
Stephan driving around
what it is.
Town.
Yeah.
Got the video of him emptying the stuff out of the backpack, driving Maddie around all over the place. Went up to it. I drive up to the parking lot to move her from the front of the car to the trunk.
7:30 a.m. throwing away her book bag. Okay.
Yes.
They got it.
I still want to know how he got her to the vehicle.
They got his ass nailed. I've always told him.
Yeah, definitely.
Said, if you do something wrong, always own up to it.
Right.
I said, it goes much better for you. But, as usual, Stephan has to lie his way thinking through this, thinking he's the smartest guy in the room. And he's not.
No.
You're dealing with professionals.
Right.
They've already got the goods on you.
Yeah.
If you think like a logical person, and you realize that there's cameras all over the place. They're on doorbells. They're on street intersections. They're everywhere. You can't get from point A to point B without somebody seeing you.
Even dash cams. Even dash cams. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to backtrack you.
Yeah.
So anyway, they finally they let Jen out to let her go get something to eat, and so we go up to a restaurant.
Now we heard about this.
Now keep in mind, I'm still thinking that Maddie's missing, and nothing mysterious or suspicious.
Now, remember, we heard about this. Hold on. I was writing back to each comment. Sarah, thank you. And I'll try. And Toe Beans, I was going to say it's definitely easy with this topic. Michelle, I love Rowdy Alex. That made me laugh. And love you back in Oz. I think most people are passionate about this. Let me delete my comment. I was trying to type to all of you guys, but I want to listen closely here because now he's going to talk about when Jen goes with him. Remember, he picks Jen up after this. She finds out about the photos and everything. And he said, number one, Jen was more talkative than she had ever been to him ever before. Number two, she started saying things like, Stephan and I didn't really have a sex life anymore. And like making excuses for him. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. You're worried about him getting an attorney and making excuses for him and why he might do this? Like, I don't even think I could be around his dad in that moment. It would be really hard to keep your composure and to not, put your bare hands around somebody's neck or something, like if you've seen him. How do you do that as a mom? How do you, I don't know. But I know most of us feel like if somebody messes with our kid, we're not going to be worried about getting them an attorney. We might have to get ourselves one.
Going on, and there's no harm has been done.
Right.
And I'm just, after I talked to the police, nothing mysterious or suspicious is going on, and there's no harm has been done.
Right.
So he's still thinking at this time Maddie's missing, and no harm has been done.
And I'm just, after I talked to the police, about 9:00, and we finally leave the sheriff's station, Jen asked for me to take her home.
Okay.
Now, throughout dinner and throughout the ride home, Jen is sitting next to me. She's already now seen the images. She knows exactly what's happened with Maddie.
Okay.
And she's sitting there as calmly as you and I are talking.
Yes, it's so good to hear this from you. Okay.
She's sitting as calmly as I guess I'm going to try to be real, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody reacts differently. You never know how you're going to react in a situation. I can't imagine, though, one of those reactions, like naturally to finding this out would be calmness. Maybe you just like are processing and haven't realized, but I don't know, because when we see the interview with Jen and Kevin, she still seems, I don't know. All
right.
If I was the mother or the father, I'd be beating the crap out of somebody royally, and
right.
not sitting in the same vehicle with the father,
telling them how to get out of it, right?
He even freaking said it, not sitting in the same vehicle with the father. Not that he did anything wrong, not that he, agrees with it, nothing like that. It's just a simple fact that he's his dad in that moment. How do you sit there calmly?
So, and the funny thing is that at dinner time, she slid her chair so close to me, put her hand on my arm, and leaned into me because she didn't want to hear any of the people sitting around the restaurant. She starts to tell me what the police have told her and what they have showed her.
Oh.
So now this woman, this mother knows. She described an image of Stephan's.
Yes, Samantha.
Okay.
And Maddie's. So now this woman, this mother knows. She described an image of Stephan's U-Haul.
Okay.
And Maddie's performing
oral
sex act.
Right.
And she's telling me this just as matter of factly as she's giving me a recipe to make a cake.
Sarah brings up the point she was in an altered state. She's telling him about the photos she saw and about having to identify Stephan's, what does he call it, U-Haul or something? Maybe it is the medication. That, I've seen people on antipsychotics that turn into, they're almost robotic. I don't know.
How do you, what? What was your reaction?
I'm sitting here going, why isn't this woman scratching and yelling, screaming, ranting, raving, crying or something? But never demonstrated any emotions throughout the entire evening until I dropped her off. And matter of fact, before Stephan went down to the lobby, he asked me to hold his pocket knife. I said, oh, okay. And in the meantime,
somebody said, please let him talk. Dude, she's letting him talk. But you can't, I'm sure it's kind of awkward. You want to try to, I don't know, have a conversation, right? I don't know. Just
gave him the phone. I said, well, here, take his phone so you can stay in touch and let me know what's going on. And so as we're pulling out of the parking lot, I realized I had this knife in my console. And I said, why did he give me this knife? So I pick up my phone, called the detective. I said, I'm coming back because I just realized that Stephan had given me this knife and I've got it in my console and I want to give it to you. I don't want it in my possession. I'm not sure what it could have been used for.
Right.
So I went back with her in the car and met the detective out front and I gave him a sworn affidavit and opened up a manila envelope and I dropped the knife into it. And that was that. Gave it to him. That was it. In the meantime, the police had showed up at our house they said, during my interview, would you have any objection of police search your house? I said, no. I called Deb. I said, hey, Deb, they're going to come search the house. And she said, okay.
Right.
So, which they did. And we all know about all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I got home and found out Friday about this interview and I watched this interview, I said, that's it. They've got his phone. You can't deny that. You got the photos on there. You can't deny that. I don't know why he's thinking that just because that they may have obtained it illegally that he's going to get off on the SA charges.
Yep.
Now, this is so interesting to me because we waited for this trial. We waited and waited. Jen and I checked constantly to see if, Bendy, are you still here? To see if there was an order about the phone because the judge said he was going to make the decision if the phone could come in, a written decision, and it took a while. Jen, do you want to come up for a second? Because this is going to be, I want to just try to get through this quickly. And if you have anything to say, I'll drop the link. But we checked and checked and checked. Now, this is so interesting to hear from him what Stephan was thinking. And then what the family was thinking. Because he says, Stephan thought he could get out. Oh, what? How can you even, what kind of dumb, why would you think that you're going to ever get out of jail? But his family thought, Bendy, his family thought that, even if you do, you're going to be hated. He goes, I'm going to play it, like Casey Anthony. Here, let me play it and I'll get the link.
But he's never going to win the court of justice or public. The court of public opinion he'll be another OJ, he'll be another Casey Anthony. If he thinks he's going to get out of jail on that, he's crazy.
Right.
And then certainly later the first degree murder charges came across and then, his fate is sealed.
Right.
There's a great line in Forrest Gump. Stupid is as stupid does. And so that's Stephan. He's Forrest Gump.
Right.
Right, Nate. You're exactly right. The phone was in. I remember when the order finally came through, but that's when Stephan decided to plea after that decision. I was truly worried the phone wouldn't come in. You never know. You just never know. Every courtroom is different. Every case is different. Every state is different. Every city is different. Every judge is different. Some judges may allow things, other judges will not. Some judges may allow you to go off on other subjects. Other judges want you to only discuss what you are there for, specifically what you are there for. Anything like some of the side details are not necessary. It all depends. It's different everywhere. I didn't know. What if they don't let the phone in? Then what would have happened?
I mean,
This
this is
building's really
exactly
big
the
now.
way that it's a lot more, what you said is exactly what happened in front of everybody else. So they told you the exact same thing then as everybody else.
Yeah. So I had always trained Stephan in sales and said, you need to rehearse the script and you need to do it out loud. You should role play with somebody if you really want to be good, because you've got to see people's reaction. You need to hear you.
When I first heard this, I was like, huh? You're teaching your kid how to lie, telling him he should role play. But they go on to discuss, it was because like selling real estate and stuff like that. Hey, Bendy.
Hey, babe, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
I'm so glad that you came up. I honestly, right when I was starting, I was like, I should ask Jen if she wants to come, but I didn't. I just didn't. I was like, well, maybe I won't, because she probably
Maybe I don't really want Bendy up here. That's what it
No,
was.
I always want you up. I just
know,
thought like you're going to be
teasing.
like, no. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to ask last minute, and you feel like you have to, but you don't have to. But I would always love when you do.
Oh, I always love to come up here. You can ask me anytime, and 99.99999% I will say yes, of course.
There has been a time or two. You have things going on.
Only then. But tonight, I've already put the little chicky nugget pot pie to bed. I have sang her kitty cat song. I have kissed her forehead, told her sweet dreams. I have fed the babies over here their soft food, so I am good to go.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So what do you think so far about like just hearing, do you think this would be what he testified to? Because that's kind of how I imagined it, but
I am kind of curious as to what he would testify to. Yes. But I want to just clear something up with Mr. Stearns real quick. That phone was not obtained illegally by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I know that your son and his defense attorneys, that was their Hail Mary. That was their plan of last resort. That's all they could do before trial, was try to mitigate the circumstances, which would mean getting that phone thrown out. But it was not obtained illegally. There were emergent circumstances. Your son had deleted and factory reset his phone not once, but twice by the time the female detective put her eyes on it and was going through the contact list. That is what caused the red flag, is the fact that there were no calls in the call log.
Yep.
And then your son told her that he accidentally, on purpose, factory reset that phone not once, but twice.
Yep.
It wasn't obtained illegally. Try again.
And of course they're going to be like, oh shit, we got to get, you know what I mean? He's already done it twice.
I'm trying to be patient because I can't imagine learning something like this about my son. I really can't. And I'm trying to be patient and I'm trying to give grace. They did not commit this crime, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there was something wrong with the investigation because of that. That's some grace I'm not willing to give. He handed it over. Exactly. And they didn't have to get a search warrant because of those emergent circumstances. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Allie.
No, I love what you have to say, but you're exactly right. He did say, he has said they had him, I don't think I didn't take it as, I know you've been here the whole time. Do you think he's like making excuses? Now I do think they're not going to let go of Jen being involved, but he seems to have accepted he did this. He was caught red-handed. I should have seen sooner that he was lying to me, and just like, I don't know, like he's trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? As a dad,
yes. I think it's a very tough situation. And I think that, even if the phone had gotten thrown out, okay, that would have probably put the kibosh on the first case, but not the second case. They didn't need that phone for the second case.
Right.
So for him to say, well, he still didn't get, and I think he said something about it, didn't get him. It was very difficult for me to hear at that point because Mac was screaming at me for the soft food. Okay. So I could only catch every other word between.
He said that, I think he said Stephan thought he would get out. And he's like,
see.
I was telling him no. And even if you did, you'll always be known for this. It's not, you're not getting out of this.
Right. And the irony of him pointing of him referencing Casey Anthony is the fact that Casey Anthony walked and she was acquitted and everybody knew she was guilty, including the jury. They just didn't understand the jury instructions, and that we've talked about that ad nauseum. I'm going to leave that there, but that's the irony of it, which to me seems like he has come around to the fact he's at the acceptance stage.
Yes.
He's accepted it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Patty, thank you for coming by, and I love you, and just thank you. And I hope you're feeling better. This is actually two friends of mine, their mom, and she comes by sometime to just say hi and send me some love and support. Not really into true crime or anything, but just
that's really
stopping
sweet,
by. I know,
especially in light of the conversation earlier on another channel about what your loved ones would think about your channel. You know what I mean? So that's really cool.
Oh, I love you too so much. And I hope you're feeling better. Everybody send a little good vibes, a prayer, whatever.
Absolutely.
To her, 'cause she's going through some health stuff. Not going to get into it, but just hope you feel better. So
absolutely. All the good juju blessed.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you guys make me feel, I don't know, so happy being sweet to her, because that means so much to me. Nature Rocks, love you too, and this community. Great job, Alex. Thank you. And thank you for being a member for 21 months.
Wow.
And love you back.
Hi, Nature Rocks. Thanks for being here, babe. Thanks all of you guys for being here. Make sure you've given Allie a thumbs up. She'll never ask, but I will for her.
She's like a second mom to me in a way. You know what I mean? She's just an awesome person. And I love you. And it's been in my life for 20 plus years. So you're right. It is interesting in light of that conversation.
It is. Did you see what I wrote about that comment?
No. Tell me.
I said that my family, the one person, because they wanted us to think of one person. So the first person I thought of was Chicky Nuggy. And if she ever saw this, I think she would laugh at the jokes that I make, because she laughs at the jokes that I make now. I'm not saying that I make the same jokes on the YouTubes that I do for a 4-year-old. Obviously, I edit the content to reflect the audience. She's 4. But she does laugh at Granny's jokes. And she tells Granny all the time how funny she is. And I'll tell you what else she would say. Like and subscribe to Granny's channel. That's what she would say. If it was my other person, if it were the Hubs, I'm telling you right now what he would say to you guys. This is how she is. Try living with her. At least you can block her on the internet. That's what he would tell me. That's what he would say. This is how she just is. This is how she rolls.
No,
so,
that's funny. I don't know. I always have thought about that though, like, because the internet's forever and our videos are going to be around, and one day for people to look back at, and you think about that, and I don't know.
I make it for the victims' families. I think about what if the victims' families.
Oh yes, I've thought about that.
Stumbled on one of these lives that I've done or these videos that I've done. What would they say?
Well, I totally have thought of that as well. But also, like, what about in 100 years when, like, if YouTube's not even a thing? I don't know. I just think about, will our videos still be available somewhere on the internet?
Oh, justified. I do. I got her saying all kinds of bendyisms. 11 billion, chunkless. Yikes on bikes. She says that one all the time now. Yikes on bikes, Granny.
No, but Patty is a very important person in my life, and taught me a lot about all the good things, like honesty and kindness and love and compassion and all that stuff. So
Absolutely. Anyways. Okay, back on topic. See how I come up here and derail shit? I'm so sorry.
No, you did not derail it. Well, I'm just gonna play for another minute or two, and then we'll just talk about. Oh, I want to ask you first before we go any further. What did you
Yes.
think about? It is some of the same of what we've heard, but him talking about Jen's composure and how she acted that day, and when Stephan got arrested, they get him a lawyer, and so calm, the calmest he's ever seen her, and things like that. Like, what do you think was going on?
I mean, okay. First of all, Jennifer Soto's list of medications is nothing to snub your nose at. Okay, she's on some decent. She's on some medication that has some decent sedative properties. Okay,
Right.
I think. I think what we were witnessing is not calm. I think what we were witnessing is sedated, and there's a difference. And I think that. That's what I think. What does that mean that she was sedated? For me personally, um, I don't know how I would be if my child were missing. I don't know if I would be, because I know myself and I'm at one end of the extreme or the other. Either I would want to be completely sedated and numb, or I would want to watch. I would want to be completely
Like hyper
alert
aware.
and aware of everything. Something tells me that it would be everything. I think that the sedated part would be probably like after, like when they found her.
Right.
But yeah,
I totally agree with that, because you'd want to maybe be doing the investigating yourself.
Yes.
And
yeah.
But if you see a picture of your baby and she is being forced to perform a sexual act on who was your boyfriend, which I don't think many of us could even picture something like that, right? But how do you can't kill him. You have to control yourself because he's arrested.
Right, but you can rage out. Like, you can't physically do anything, but you could yell, you could scream, you could be, I was thinking about, like, it's in the video. I'm just telling you guys right now. When Pam Hobbs learned that Stevie was murdered, her reaction, and there should have, she could have had a reaction. And I just think there's something there's a detachment about Jennifer Soto towards Maddie that I don't understand. I don't understand it.
There definitely is. I agree. Solo Angel Mom, thank you for being a member 13 months. Damn, 13 must be lucky now. Thank you, Solo Angel Mom.
Damn.
I think that's what it has to be. Like,
like, she's so detached, disassociated. Like, it seems like there is not a maternal bond there. Like, she never really bonded with Maddie. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. What are you saying? Says, I think Stephan's dad is standing by his son, not for what he's done, but because it's his son, but he's not giving him a pass. And I agree. And I respect that.
Me too. I don't know how I would be. I don't know. I'd like to sit here and I'd like to say, oh, I would do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But the fact of the matter is, knock on wood, I don't think this would ever happen, but never say never. I don't like to speak in absolutes. I don't know what I would do. That's the honest truth. I think it would come so far out of left field that I would be in such shock. I can honestly say, sitting here right now, I don't know what I would do. I don't know.
Well, it's like with anything in life, Jen. If you haven't been through it, you truly don't know. It's just like if you, my mom's had cancer. I haven't had cancer. I don't know how I would feel. I think I can imagine how I would feel. You know what I mean? Or something else like that. Like anything in life, you just don't know until it happens to you.
Yeah, exactly. You never know how you're going to deal with it. Like, when we weren't sure what Livy's diagnosis was, right?
Right.
I turned to my channel. Really, I did. Talking about true crime was a distraction from everything that was going on in my head. So when people say, oh, well, she shouldn't, she should be doing this or she should be doing that, I don't do that, because I think there there's likely probably some people that did. Were like, why? Okay, you're not sure what the diagnosis of your grandchild is. What are you doing, on the internet? I needed that distraction. I could not diagnose her. I did not go to medical school. And, I had to wait and be patient for a diagnosis. And I needed the distraction of you guys, really talking to you guys and having chats and all that stuff to help me process. It's not like while I was talking about true crime, I wasn't aware of it. It's not like I wasn't thinking about it and it was in the back of my mind. It just wasn't, I wasn't fixated on finding a solution when I was completely out of control and couldn't find the solution. There was no way I was going to find a solution. I'm not a doctor.
Right. So all you can do is distract yourself. Well, it also makes me think about his parents and like trying to give them some grace and kindness because they didn't do this. And I don't know how it would be to be in their shoes, but I do appreciate he's on here, calling it for what it is, that Stephan did do this and he lied, and when he lied to him and when he saw red flags and stuff like that, because he said, the flat tire, lie number one, then Maddie's missing. Like, of course, this is red flags for dad. Whoa, all these things at once. At least he's being honest about it and trying to, you know what I mean? He's not excusing it. So it's hard to
go ahead. I'm sorry. What I'm saying, Julie, is that
addresses one too.
Okay. What I'm saying is that she was so sedated that it was very difficult for me to ascertain what her reaction was, because I could tell that she was sedated. I don't know another way to say it. I'm trying to be careful how I say it because I don't want to be nasty about it, but like towards, because I don't want to be accusatory is really what it is. My thing is with Jen Soto, it's very difficult to say for me to really ascertain what her true reaction is because she had meds on board that kept her true reaction from coming out. So
right, a very heavy meds.
Yes. Yeah. Haldol is serious medication. It's not a joke.
Well, also, I don't know. I thought Julie was saying, she says neither one of them worked. They both were complicit. They were selling that. There are not that many drugs to be gin mode. I truly believe
understanding what she said. That I'm sorry, Julie, if I misunderstand.
I took it as saying that they were selling the photos and stuff. A lot of people think that. Mm-hmm. I truly believe you guys, honestly and truly, that if that was the case, there would be evidence and that she would be arrested. Yes. There would be evidence of where the photos went to, meeting with people, all that. And remember that interview with his dad and that detective where his dad's like, why hasn't Jim been arrested over the last summer? And the detective said, we have tried to prove that she knew, that she was complicit, that she was part of it, searching through pictures, text messages, phone records, camera footage. We can't connect those dots.
Right. They would. Exactly. And don't you think by now at this point, Stephan would have said she was part of it?
I do, which he is. I think now he's trying to, remember the no contest shit that was leaving the door open for his bullshit, in my opinion.
Right, but if it's true, Stephan, then ask to exactly. Ask to speak to the detectives, and tell them how to find the evidence.
Yep, you're 100% right. Oz says it's difficult not to judge Jen for her behavior beforehand, i.e., allowing her child to sleep with a grown man. That said, who knows what she's experienced in her life. And Oz, and I know, Bendy, I'm not going to speak for you, but I know I can, that we are all just absolutely outraged, disgusted, and in disagreement with that. I just cannot believe it.
I do not agree with that. I don't give her grace for that. I think that what she did was this was not the first time. This was just the first time it went badly. She trusted Maddie with her first boyfriend before Stephan and didn't barely know that guy either. Yeah. And thankfully, he was a good guy.
Yep. Who felt uncomfortable with the amount of trust.
Exactly. Yes. He was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Okay. Let's listen for another minute, see what you think, and then we'll chat again on the other side.
All right. Okay. Let me mute.
Saying this and expressing this and practice it, rehearse it. If you think about it, any actor who takes on a character, I mean, some of them go out and if they're playing a police officer or something, they go out and ride with police officers. They get the feel, they get the tone, they get the nuances of what it's like to be a police officer. Right. You maintain your demeanor. You're not some wild ass cowboy out there freewheeling and shooting people left and right, and shooting people in the back, halter off shoot, type of stuff. You can't do that stuff, especially more today than way back when.
I was going to say back then you could, yeah.
So it's these actors rehearse their part,
right?
And and even in sales, you rehearse your part. You want to say things in such a brief and concise way that you're conveying some, because they're going to help you.
Which he worked with you for a little bit, right? Or something in real estate. So is that why you told him that?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, a widget is a widget. It doesn't matter what you sell.
Right. Exactly.
And I've always written the scripts down, and where I've written them down repetitively, so they become imprinted in my mind. And then I'll go out and practice a piece and that's how you go about practice. When I said, the police are going to consider you to be a person of interest. Duh, you're the last person to see her.
Right.
And so I said, he tells me, well, Maddie didn't have her phone. And right away I go, okay, let me see. A teenager her age, not without her phone. Why not just slit your wrist and just leave your blood at home, go to school,
Right.
I mean, you're taking your lifeline. You're leaving.
Okay, that was a little like his, what do you,
that was
I don't know about it. Yeah. Thank you, Jen.
It's a very poor analogy.
Yes.
But the interesting thing about that is he's talking about, he taught Stephan to sell him. When you're a salesperson, what he's basically saying, what I'm taking from it is that you're really selling yourself more really than you're selling the product. Because if the person that you're selling to believes in you, then they will believe in what you're saying, which then leads them to believe in the product. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact of the interesting thing about that is part of grooming.
Wow. Yeah. That is interesting.
Now, I'm not saying that he taught his son to groom. I want to make that very, very clear. But clearly, on some level, those lessons, although he twisted it and turned and used it for nefarious reasons, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's like Koberger learning in school. Hey, guilty of crime. She said, smash that like button, y'all. Hello, ladies. We have been listening to y'all's phone call and talking about it. Again, if you want to hear more, because we're not going to play it all. We're not going to play all the other interviews either. Her channel's linked in the description box. So go check it out. Because she's done it.
Check it out. Absolutely. Yeah. You have to be convincing. And what he taught, and if you think about it with Jennifer Soto, okay, what he had set up there, she's already like a detached mom to begin with. Okay. So she doesn't have, everybody says, oh, you have maternal instincts. Not every woman has those. It's just facts. Yeah. So she didn't come with that, I don't think. And she wasn't bonded with Maddie. So he had that working for him. Okay. And then what did he sell her? That Maddie and him were BFFs. They were best friends. Now, could me or you have probably seen through that bullshit? Absolutely. Absolutely. But she
that is so interesting to think about them.
Yeah.
Also, if you notice, like his analogy at the end, he was pointing out that Maddie not bringing her phone to school right there is suspicious and makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I do appreciate him being honest, like pointing out those things, even when it's against Stephan,
Exactly. But the fact of the matter is, Stephan knew that he could give Jennifer Soto some song and dance, which he probably did. We haven't heard exactly what that was yet, about why her phone was there. And he knew that she was lazy enough to believe it. And she did.
Yeah.
And that's why he had more time. That's why she wasn't worried until after school.
But why did she, and I have an answer for this, but I'm curious what you think.
Okay.
Why did she tell the news at first that we took Maddie to school, and that she had last seen her that morning, when now we know it was 11 o'clock the night before when she sent her up to bed was the last time that she saw him. Why do you think we took her to school at this time instead of Stephan?
Because she knows it looks and sounds bad. If she would have told the truth from the very beginning, it looks and sounds bad for her. What do you mean? This guy doesn't live there anymore. Why did y'all? Because people would have asked even more follow-up questions. It's me. I'm people.
Right.
Well, okay. So wait a minute. Now y'all broke up. Why'd you break up? How long you've been broken up? What was the circumstances under which you broke up? How did they who broke up with whom? How did it go? I would have wanted to know all of those things. And then I would have been like, okay, well then you had roommates who we now know, we didn't before, but we now from the victim impact statements had some type of relationship with Maddie. And they were together a lot with Maddie. I'm talking about the roommate, especially the one that, she was teaching Maddie Spanish and Maddie was helping her with their English, right? Okay, so then why did you bring this guy in? It seems unnecessary. Why did you have him come over at all? Maddie is just turned 13. Okay. She's not a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old. And, you've got to watch her 25/8 and lay down with her. Okay. Why did that happen? If she would have told the absolute truth and the details from the very beginning, especially to the public, the public was already all over her. People already sniffed it out that something just didn't quite feel right. Didn't feel quite right immediately. And it would have been worse.
I'm right with you 100%. She said because she didn't want people even trying to speculate that he was the reason she was missing.
Correct.
I don't think and that's just my opinion. I don't think she knew something bad, anything like that at that point. It was just to protect him.
Exactly right. Exactly right. She knew that he was the last person to see Maddie. She knew that he would be suspect number one. She knew that, and to her mind, well, he shouldn't be a suspect. He would never do anything to harm her. Now, if it had been me, and I think if it had been any of us, and we trusted somebody and we found out sitting in a fucking police interrogation room and they're showing us a video of how badly they abused our trust to begin with and then our child, I would be going through every single millisecond of my time with that rat bastard, and I would have been telling it all. I would have gone back from the minute we met and replayed everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same. Just like replaying it to yourself, trying to figure out where things
exactly
went sideways. Hey, Chief. Good to see you. All right. Let's listen for another minute and then we'll end it. I'm going to pull my timeline back up at the end though, just to kind of explain to people. Plus, I'm rusty on some of the details. It's been a minute. Like, I don't know. My brain, I need to be taken like ginkgo biloba, or what the fuck does that stuff
That's
called?
it. You said it right. Okay. Ginkgo biloba. I don't know. You never did email me, babe. Would you do me when you get a moment? I know you've been busy around the house with your family and your mom and dad and stuff, but what do I need to get? Wakanda. What is it called?
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. I keep wanting to say Wakanda. But I know that's not right because that's from the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But
I encourage Tess to try that and her mom.
Oh, that's what I need.
It's freaking awesome. I'm telling you, it's an adaptogen. It literally will. If you are tired and you take it at night, it will help you rest better. But if you take it in the morning, it will help you be more awake and alert. It helps pain. It helps anxiety. You can take it and literally kind of feel your muscles relax when it starts working.
OMG. Now, is it from the first dose or is it one of those things that needs to be
first dose?
Okay. All right. How does it come?
It's just like in a
capsule.
Yes, a capsule, and then like make sure it's a good brand. I can send you some links though, because you want it to be in a bottle that's like tinted from the sun. What do you call that? Yeah, I told you Allie found me the best one.
You probably did test, but we were talking about Crazy Pants Donna that day, and so my mind was completely somewhere else.
Here, I'll put it in the chat, Harley, the way you spell it. Ashwagandha.
Yes, girls. See, this is why it's important for us ladies to stick together. Chief, you too. Chief said, sign me up. I'm pretty sure. No, but I mean, like, seriously, we should talk about this because there are things that go on as you get to be a certain age as a woman. And, when one woman finds something that works, it's incumbent upon us to share that secret with the rest of womankind.
Yes, true. True.
But I just didn't want to leave Chief out because I adore you, Chief. So I wasn't really sure how to handle it. So I made it a little awkward, but also a little funny. There you go.
Okay, here we go. Back to this for just a second. I'm not going to play the whole call. People can go listen over there. I really wanted to get through that day. That was like the biggest thing for me that first day. So
yeah.
Here we go.
Behind? I don't think so. And then I said, well, okay. So now you got to come up with some evidence of where you were.
Right.
What about your phone? They should be pinging it off the tower. Well, I left mine home too. And I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, no.
Then he tries to tell me this bullshit about his phone resetting. I said, oh really? Yeah, I was doing an update and reset. But I'm a tech guy.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, bullshit to that. There's no effing way that happened.
Right.
But oh no, it happened. Okay. So now you don't have your phone. And Maddie doesn't have her phone.
Right.
All this is so very convenient. And then I'm watching your podcast tonight and listening to the timeline in this 10-minute conversation. Calls me back 10 minutes later. I say, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got home and I left my phone at home. Well, yeah, he left it home because he had to, because he's driving around like he's driving Miss Daisy.
Right. Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
Not sure what he's going to do.
I mean, do you think that they did this script? Were they so close with what they were telling you? You think Jen scripted this with Stephan?
You think Jen scripted this with Stephan? We got to hear that. Go ahead there, Bindi.
All right. First of all, Chris, he was not driving Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy wanted to be driven around. No, what he was doing was driving like a fucking funeral director, like a hearse, because Maddie was dead. Would that say what it was? He was driving around with her body in his car, not Miss Daisy. Stop it. If you're going to make an analogy or you're going to use a metaphor, for the love of Pete, please use one correctly. And also, fix your audio. You're crackling and it's driving me nuts. That's all.
It's a phone call, though, but I think he was explaining what Stephan was trying to make it seem like. You know what I mean? And that's why he said, then he gives me this bullshit that but I don't know. I'm watching the chat, too, so...
he said he's given this bullshit. Yeah, you had to leave it home because you're out there driving Miss Daisy. That's his words.
Okay.
Here's a better one, Chris. Driving all over Hell's Half Acre. That's better. It's still not really apropos. Driving around like a fucking funeral director is probably the better one, but driving all over Hell's Half Acre is much better than driving Miss Daisy. Just a little help.
True. And let me just say, just a little warning for people with supplements. You have to make sure it's a reputable company. There's not really many regulations surrounding supplements, and the FDA doesn't approve or disapprove. Now they do approve that it's like a clean factory and things like that, but not individual ingredients. You don't ever want to buy something that doesn't give you each individual ingredients and they have this magic blend. Don't trust that. Make sure it's a reputable company. Be safe. You know what I mean? Make sure there's plenty of reviews, testimony, things like that, because it can be incredibly dangerous. I've watched these shows where people will put out a supplement, like they show how easy it is to put out a supplement that's actually trash. So just be careful. And with ashwagandha, a lot of times you'll see these like expensive brands in the grocery store. The serving size actually isn't big enough to do what you need. And they have them marked up super high. So just like I said, do some research and make sure of the dose you need and that kind of thing. And
Allie is my research. I trust her, but I will do my own as well. Allie will say,
I got your back, though.
Check this out. And let me know what you think. That's what she usually says to me.
Yes.
And I will be like,
I want it.
Ma'am.
I truly need your opinion on a lot of stuff though, or sometimes I need you to like talk sense into me, talk me down, help me feel like a big sister type thing. You know what I mean? Help.
And then sometimes I call Allie and I'm like, Allie, I know this is backwards, but I need an adult to your adult, and you're the only person that picked up.
That's funny. Oh, what are you saying? I appreciate your passion, Alex. Passion equals caring. We need more people like you.
Absolutely.
Plus, you crack me up when you get fired up.
Yeah, I love spicy.
Yeah.
I love spicy Amy. It's my favorite.
I love that shirt Neat got me for my birthday.
I love it too. It's adorable.
So cute.
And
All right,
I know that my thing was very morbid, but I don't know if there's part of me that sometimes feels like he diminishes what the situation is. And I feel like it's probably, he's not doing it like as a personal affront to me or anybody else. It's his own way of sort of protecting himself. And I get it. I just cannot stand Stephan. What he did was beyond horrific. And then what that lump fixed his mouth to say during during his allocution. I was just like, bruh, you are so lucky that I just wanted to shake the shit out of him.
I would love to hear what they thought about that damn,
allocution. Yes.
Yeah. If you do interview them again and you're still in here, you should totally ask about that because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Did they approve, disapprove? How did they feel? Did it make them feel as sick as it made us feel? Okay. So what do you think they're going to say here? She says, do you think Jen scripted this with Stephan?
I think that there's a high likelihood that he's going to say yes, because he definitely believes that Jen and Stephan were cahooters in this. So,
okay, I do too, and I can't remember,
yes.
but I think he did. And then Tess, I think you can share the Amazon link here if you want. And then Jordan said, did they ever say what happened to her? And all we know is that she was strangled. That's right.
Yeah, that's what we know.
They actually talk about in this call something with the pregnancy, and they're like, well, now we know that wasn't true. Or where did that come out? I've never heard that.
It's not come out. The only place that could have come out publicly is Stephan would have been able to see the autopsy report through his discovery. And it's I get you, Oz. It's probably something that he knows. So if he knows it, it's possible that he might have told his parents, but that's the only way, because other than that, it's not come out at all publicly.
And it won't, right? Because Florida
it will never come out. It will never. It would have come out during the trial. They would have talked about it because it would have been something that was asked. Absolutely. Given the circumstances. However, because there was no trial, nobody will ever be able to get their hands on her autopsy. I don't even know if her mom can, if I'm being honest. And Sarah, you're right. If he told them, it doesn't make it true. He's a lying liar face who tells lies. So who knows? But if that's where but my point was that that's where it would have had to come from.
And so it doesn't make it true then. So
correct. We don't know. We'll never know. I hope not. I would hate,
Yeah, me too. But I have a big fear that that's what happened and kind of led to this, or because we've just heard it mentioned in so many interviews about the missed period and stuff, or maybe they did. I mean, I'm not saying this is true at all, but just like for speculation purposes, maybe they took an abortion pill. You never know. And we'll just never know. I wish we would know. I'm with you, though. I hope not. But at the end of the day, what happened to her was so horrific. I mean, what's the reason? None of the reasons are going to make sense. None of what led up to this is we're going to hear and be like, oh, okay, that's why this happened. No.
Well, I'll say this. I need to do some research on this, but I believe that Florida is one of the states where he likely would have gotten charged. I have to see how they do it, but I have to look and see. But I would think that if she were pregnant, it's, depending on how far along she was, that he would have been charged.
That's what it is. I looked it up. I remember it was about how far along, if it was viable or something along those.
Yeah. So different states have different, because,
Yeah, why was he freaking out Saturday night? And I don't know if we'll hear it because we're not going to play it all, but they go on to say, like, he says, Saturday he was talking about him freaking out, and he was asking me if I had any nerve medication, and his mom. He's like, and I don't take anything like that. I wouldn't have anything like that.
But-
like the fact that he even asked him was
Right, but you guys also have to remember with the late period or statements. Remember, he wasn't living there for a period of time. This was going to be the first time he was going to see Maddie in quite some time.
Yeah, I looked right up. It wasn't, she wasn't far enough if it was true.
Okay.
I remember that at the time, like something about us
Thank
talking
you.
about it.
I figured we had talked about it. I just couldn't remember. But
It's
remember,
been forever.
this is why I think I've told you guys my theory about why he was hyped up for Saturday. So
Yes.
I don't think it had anything to do with her missing her period. I don't think it had anything to do with her potentially being pregnant. I think that he hadn't had access to Maddie for a while. And I think that I think that's what he was excited about, quite frankly. I think he had been doing looking up some things on the internet. And I think he knew this was going to be his probably one and only opportunity to try it. That's what I think.
Oh, I think he probably was excited. It's so sick, but I just have a fear, I don't know, but we'll never know.
We'll never know. We will never know. We will never know.
J13, do not let me forget. I have a love for tea too, and I have so many cool kinds and different combinations and stuff. I think I've showed Tess before. I have a whole drawer full of like tons of different teas, and I barely use them anymore, but I love tea.
Allie has a tea for every mood, every stage of your life, every ambiance that you could possibly want to set. Allie has a tea for that. I guarantee she loves tea. That is one thing I know about Allie.
Put you to sleep.
Put you to sleep, something to, level you out in midday, all the things.
It's funny. It's like when I got into recovery, I was just on the hunt for like natural anxiety relief. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear what he has to say. Do you think Jen scripted this?
I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
But I'm listening.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I want to know.
I'll pause for a minute.
I'm going to have some opportunity to talk to Stephan to see if he will give me the truth as to what happened. Okay. I mean, when he made the comment when we were first able to speak with him, he said, well, I didn't start it. And I shot back, well, you participated.
Yes.
I mean, who cares who started it? If you had a choice at that time to do something or not do it. And like, what did you not start?
Right.
There's that begged the question that you knew wasn't going to get an answer, but still participated in it. But I want to get to the truth. So
thank you, Dad. At least admitting that the comment, I didn't start it. That's just the most disgusting comment in my life. I don't give a damn that I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry. I didn't start it. At least Dad's like, so what? Doesn't make a difference. You did it. Okay. It's terrible and disgusting no matter what. But that comment right there, how could you? Because what are you insinuating there, dude? We're not stupid. And that's disgusting. It's like a slap to the face. It's so rude.
Do I think Jen's involved?
Not supposed to be.
I just don't know what to extent.
Right.
I think for whatever reason, we've kind of theorized that Stephan's falling on the sword for whatever reason. But do I think he was the lone perpetrator in this? I think maybe he might have accidentally harmed her in such a way that she died, and then he described to us that he was up and down most of that evening, going up and down the stairs a few times. We've kind of theorized that Stephan's falling on the sword for whatever reason. But do I think he was the lone perpetrator in this? I think maybe he might have accidentally harmed her in such a way that she died, and then he described to us that he was up and down most of that evening, going up and down the stairs a few times. I can't believe that if there was some altercation or something, the roommates didn't report anything. It sounded like it was very quiet. But I tell you what, that Saturday night before he left town, Jay, if you saw the expression on his face, you would see such a look of panic and terror in his face. I've never seen anything like this.
Really?
He came out of his bedroom. I was in the kitchen heading back towards the bedroom, walking through the great room, and he's coming out. He's got this look on his face, and he said, "Do you have any anxiety meds?" Sorry, I don't have that kind of issue. So no, I don't. You think Mom does? I said, I don't think she has any either, but you can ask her. And he was looking for something to calm his nerves. And then the next time I saw him was early Sunday morning. He was up. He was at the computer, and I was heading out the door. And then I thought he was leaving earlier in the afternoon, but I see that he didn't enter the Kissimmee area until 8:25 that Sunday evening.
Well,
so,
these times match up. Yeah, that's what they said. He got there like right after the party or right before Maddie got there. So, okay.
So there are anti-YouTubers, Jordan, but not with all of them. They've spoken with Hidden True Crime and with Guilty of Crime. I'm going to drop the link to this interview right now in the chat so you guys can finish. Yeah, I'm done there. So we heard him say he feels like he's falling on the sword. So does that mean that he thinks, doesn't that mean that, he's taking the blame for some of this? And I disagree with that. But Stephan left it open like this. This is what he wanted. Let me see if I can find this before we go. Hold on. Sentencing. This is why he pled no contest, so he could keep manipulating his parents, stringing them along, doing what he's done. So let's just, yeah. Let me
just like Chris Watts.
Yes.
Just like Chris Watts. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know that the look, I think the look that he had probably was panic, because I think that Stephan couldn't get his paws on what he really wanted to get his hands on, which was something that is only available to doctors. Operating rooms carry it. It's an anesthetic. That's what he wanted. But I think he knew that this was his last chance to be with Maddie in that way. And I'm trying very carefully how to say this. What he did to her was so foul and for so long, and she deserves dignity. And I don't want to rehash all the salacious details. But my point is that I think that he was panicked trying to figure out how he was going to make what he ultimately wanted to make happen. I do not think that he intended to actually kill her. That part I do think was accidental. I think what he wanted was, I think that he's on the spectrum of people who are necrophiliacs. Right. That's what I think.
Yeah. And he had something planned. There was something going on. We may never know.
We will never know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
even if he killed, you can't believe it.
No. And the fact of the matter is, he said, and this was an accident, and you can tell when you are listening to that call between him and his parents, because he stops short. It was something that leaked out. If I could have shook her awake, if I could have gone downstairs and shook her awake, and he stops right there. He doesn't go any further with it, which tells me that the most likely explanation for that was that it was something that slipped out, because it's actually how he felt in that moment. And it's the truth.
Yeah. Dad, you need to go back and listen to that, because he wished he would have woke Jen up. And if she was part of it, how would she be sleeping?
Correct. And I think that he was keeping that to his parents, which is it's the same. A lot of the things that he said to his parents on those calls in those early days were very Chris Watts-like. Now let's not get into conspiracies. Because it doesn't, it's a way of, it's very passive aggressive. It's a way of saying it without coming out and saying it. He's told you in every single way that he possibly can. I mean, he is who he is.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Well, he's going to balls up and just, say, I did it. I'm the only one who did it. She was negligent in many, many, many ways. But on that night, it was me and me alone.
Yeah. No, he's not going to do it. I think he's going to continue. Hey, he's manipulating his parents, right? He has no one. And yeah, so that's why he pled no contest, in my opinion. Let's hear this. It's a minute long. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's when he speaks at court. That's what it says, but I don't know, because I just pulled it up. Can we listen for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm so glad that you came up. You guys, please go check
too.
out Jen's channel if you haven't, and the other channels we dropped in here, and watch the rest of this interview on Guilty of Crime, again in the description. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Coverage continues now with West 2's Gail Pascal Brown. And Gail, after the plea was accepted and the sentence was read, Stearns also made a brief statement.
Yes, he did. And at the end of his statement, he apologized for all the pain. And he said that he has asked God countless times, prayed to God, that they could trade places, him and Madeline. In other words, take him instead of her. Now, after listening to nearly 10 loved ones of Madeline Soto's call him a monster who took advantage of her innocence and her life, Stearns says that Madeline Soto was a joy and that he prays to God that she's in heaven.
I have nothing but sorrow for her loss. And I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well. And she truly was a joy.
The judge explained that the
Crazy. You don't even have the cojones to plead not guilty, or to plead guilty when you're taking a freaking plea.
Exactly, because that was not planned. Like, I think that the judge was under the assumption that he was going to be pleading guilty to the murder, not no contest. Because typically, because they were talking about it, I remember on Court TV, or maybe it was Long Crime, one or both, right? And they had their lawyers up there, their legal analysts up there talking about how in Florida, typically a judge will not accept a no contest plea to something to that serious of a charge. Those are reserved for misdemeanors, not felony, and not first degree murder for sure. So, and they had to go up there and talk about it.
I remember you saying, because I came in late or something after you said that they were up at the front talking for a bit. Yeah. But yeah, I'm so glad you went through this with me, because we've talked about it so much along the way. And honestly, this was a good interview. She didn't say much. He really talked. People were in the chat say, I saw comments on the screen telling her, stop talking, let him talk. But honestly, what do? You have to be part of the conversation so you don't make them feel awkward. But this was just him talking.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge what the other person has said. It's a conversation.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So thank you guys for going through it with me. Thank you, Bendy. I don't know, is there going to be anything else that comes out we don't know? What do you think?
I think Stephan's probably going to try and manipulate some kind of situation where he can improve his circumstances in prison, or just have a reprieve from being where he is momentarily. And I'm talking about being, maybe being interviewed or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like he should just go away. He should fade into obscurity and let the universe do whatever the universe sees fit. That's how I feel about it.
Well, apparently, just according to, I think, that video, a different part of it, the prison that he's in is a really tough prison.
Yeah.
And,
Florida prisons are not known for being there are some that are a little, but obviously where you go is dependent on your crime. And his crime that he committed is the most serious crime that you can commit. It's the charge that carries the heaviest penalty in all of the states. So yeah, he's not going to be in prison land. He's not at all, and it is whatever I don't want to for me personally, this is how I feel about it. I feel like at this point, everything, the justice system is done with him. And at this point, it's now up to the universe. Whatever happens is whatever happens. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna wish anything on him or anything like that. Cause that's just, for me personally, whatever the universe feels his punishment should be, that's what his punishment. I'm fine with that, because the universe has a fantastic way of balancing scales. Look at what we watched today with Donna Adelson. She thought she was living high. She spent $12,000 to go to Vietnam on a one-way ticket. And where did she end up? In the back of a cop car sitting. Fuck
Well,
her.
as far as like the
You
universe,
know?
listen, I don't feel bad about this. Any pedophile, I'm not going to censor it. Any pedophile needs to get either number one, put to death, in my opinion, or put on an island with all the other pedophiles and just locked up together.
That is actually not a bad idea. They can't be rehabilitated,
No.
you know? So why do we keep letting them out? That's what irritates me more than anything else. Like they've locked up drug dealers saying we're keeping the streets clean, right? We want to protect we don't want our kids to be on drugs, but we will send predators out, known predators.
Yep.
These are people that have been convicted. These are people that have been convicted multiple times.
Then
and yet they send them right back out.
Yep. Then they reoffend, and it's
exactly
usually just like this 11-year-old girl who was pregnant, and now they know it was her stepdad. How much time are they going to serve? Because if they get out, well, mark my words, it's going to be worse the next time.
Exactly. That's usually how it starts. It starts out with a charge that doesn't involve them taking the life of the child, and they get caught and sent away. And then finally they escalate because they don't want to go back. If there's no victim, they feel like there's no victim, there's no crime, right? So then they end up killing the child, and eventually it always catches up. Eventually they do get caught. But look how many young, look how many teenage boys John Wayne Gacy tortured and killed before he was caught. I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever watched the footage. It's out there of the news out front, along with the entire neighborhood, filming them bringing out body bag after body bag after body bag after body bag. It wasn't one or two. It wasn't two or three. It was a lot. And those are the ones that they found. Those are the ones that hadn't decomposed all the way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get better. There's no cure. There's no rehab. There's nothing. They are who they are. The end. Put them on, Chomo Island or whatever,
Yep. With no boats, no nothing, just whatever. Let them fend for themselves over there.
Exactly.
Sprinkled donut, I did not see. I'm so sorry, but I will go check after this. I checked my email for a little bit today, but I got
why nobody sent me an email about the cheerleader? I want to know about the cheerleader. Gosh, you guys.
And I don't have my phone. It's in there on charge, but I got so freaking busy this evening with homework and stuff, and
bless your heart. Back to school.
They both the little kids had like 4 pages each of homework.
Oh, bless their little hearts.
And it wasn't easy homework either.
Oh, just be like his teacher.
Oh, he told me that she's the best teacher he's ever had.
Oh, my heart. Okay, how about the little girl?
Yes, she likes her, but Bentley told me that they can hear her yelling down the hall.
Oh my goodness! Oh, B,
it's just busy.
But
Friday
is your oldest breaking all the hearts already?
Oh, of course, and he's keeping us busy with football. But Friday, it's very far away, so I don't think we're all gonna go here. I think either I'll go and my parents will stay home with the littles, or they'll go and I'll stay home. And my dad really loves football; he played his whole life.
Oh, yeah,
he'll probably go, and I'll stay here. But yeah, dude, it's like 3-4 hours away. I cannot believe it.
That's ridiculous.
I know, but. Yeah, so anyway, I'm ready to get back to doing more YouTube, though. I miss it. It gets so nasty, and I know you've been kind of feeling like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? What content do I want to make?
Yeah, it's gotten really nasty. It's gotten to the point where I don't want to be in any chats. I got to be honest. I don't. If they're not, if it's targeted. Not exactly, if they're not talking about true crime, I feel like I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't care. It's not because I don't have thoughts or feelings about it. It's just that it feels like people don't really care what my thoughts or feelings are on that. They seem to care about what my thoughts and feelings are about true crime. So I'll just stick to that.
Yeah, same. Me too. And you know what? Yeah, I like to know what's going on, especially when like the crossover with creators versus the cases, and you know what I mean, the people involved. But it's just gotten to a place where I don't know.
It's gotten very, very dark. It's gotten very, very evil. And let me just say this. I know that there's this whole sides situation, but it's just my opinion, and you can take it for what it's worth, okay, or ignore it. I think that there's been a lot of wrong and a lot of cruelty done by, quite frankly, both sides.
Yeah, you're right. It's
particularly to the parents of Sebastian, because that's how this all started.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I mean, creator on creator, that's one thing. Okay. But when it comes to the Sebastian's parents, his mom and his stepdad and his biological father, his dad, okay, a lot of foul, nasty, and cruel things have been said by both sides, which is wrong.
Yeah, it's
wrong.
It is wrong.
We don't know anything. And if you do know something, if you're that sure and you think you know what happened, go tell the police.
No shit. You know, I get real sick of people running to YouTube for stuff like that, or for other updates involving like court and law enforcement and stuff like that. It's not meant, I don't know. I just don't like it. It's messy, but I'm right there with you. And I talked about this in my last live. And if you guys didn't see, I know it's not going to be pushed now because it was flagged like with, for, I guess, the language, but regardless,
just appeal it. Sometimes mine goes through that too. Okay, good.
It hasn't went through yet, but maybe it will. And, you know, regardless, I just want to say I showed Sebastian's dad was protesting at the sheriff's department because it's been 18 months. And, you know, you'll hear people on both sides. They're so cruel. I mean, laughing at him, talking about how he's alone. He don't have anybody. How sad.
That's sad.
It even went as far at one point at one channel of their like, this is going to end with you, you know, him playing cop car music or sirens, like he's going to be arrested.
Oh my God.
This man is begging for help. He is at the sheriff's department begging them, literally saying, my son hasn't been found. No one's been arrested. Please, dear God, don't let him be forgotten. Like, God, it makes me want to cry.
And I can understand how he feels. Okay.
Ugh.
But conversely, on the other side of that, okay, this is sad about this. This is what's sad about what's the state of our country. And this is just how it goes in law enforcement. Sadly, there is somebody that is assigned to Sebastian's case, but it's not their only case. No detective, unless it's a serial killer, and then it becomes a task force, really. There's no there's just not the manpower. There just isn't. And I don't think that law enforcement has forgotten about Sebastian. I think what's happened is they're working the tips that they get. They're exhausting the leads. And there's only so much. That's another thing that people don't understand. When law enforcement is following up on these leads, they're bound by the law. You guys, they can't just be out there like it's the wild, wild west before we had laws, all willy-nilly, knocking down doors and stuff. We watch it all. When you watch a trial, you'll understand why they don't do that, why they handle things the way that they handle them, why they'll continue to say things like it's an open investigation, because they do care. If they didn't care, then they would just tell whatever, they just be blabbing it all over. But what they realize is if this is a crime, if a crime has occurred, at the end of all of this will be a prosecution. And the way to get justice, the only measure of justice that is available to us in our country, is through the courts, is through the justice system. And if they're out here blabbing details about the crime, then, and they get some type of confession. Do you know how easy it is to get a confession like that if all the details are out in the public?
And then
it's a false confession.
Yep, or a good attorney that will help if you make mistakes along the way like that and they open their mouth and things when they're not supposed to. It's going to mess up the trial. But Jen, this is what pisses me off. Okay. You have one end like, ha, isn't it so funny? He's like begging for help, like to find his son. Ha, ha, ha. And then you have the other end that's like, why is she not talking? Oh my God, she must be hiding something. She's not, like, it's like no matter what they do, they're wrong.
I would like to ask, who should Katie be talking to? Who is in a position to do anything about any information that she gives them? It ain't YouTube. It's the police. So even if she's not, I don't give a rat's fat kneecap if she never says another fucking word publicly ever again.
I would.
As long as she's telling law enforcement,
exactly,
that's who needs to know. They're the only ones who are in a position to do anything with the information. That's the point.
It's like, every time she speaks, she is devoured. She goes on camera. Oh, why does she look different? She's puffy. Her eyes are puffy. Oh my God, is that wine in the background? They're alcoholics. It's disgusting.
Oh my God, she smiled. Guilty. Yeah. Go arrest her. It's so sad to me. It's so, and you know, I've never seen so many things be said as fact about a case when very little information is available. That's what shocks me.
I know. It's crazy. It makes me so, it's so frustrating. It's not just with the case, it's with everything, with what's going on in the world, in the YouTube communities, with creators, with cases. People just, I don't know if they purposely try to keep shit stirred or they just repeat what they hear, but don't do that. Always fact check. Even me and Bendy, your favorite creators, the people that you trust the most, still make sure everybody can get shit wrong. Like go back and look. Hopefully people tell you where they get the information and then you can check for yourself. Like
absolutely. Like I can speak for me and I can speak for Allie and I can speak for MJ. We consistently do our absolute best to make sure that the information that we bring out, that we provide is factual, but we are human. And even if, like, there's a video still on my channel, I'll fix it at some point. It's very, very old. It's something I did very, very early on. And it was a live and I misspoke. And I said San Francisco when I meant San Diego. Is that a huge? No, it's not. But San Francisco and San Diego are not like next door to each other either. So it does make a difference. It was not intentional. It doesn't fundamentally change the case, but it does at the end of the day. The fact of the matter is, if you're telling the victim's story, you got to tell it accurately. And that includes where it happened. But we do our level best. And I was reading from notes and I even wrote it down correctly. So who knows what happened between my eyeballs, my brain, and my mouth that it came out wrong. But it was completely unintentional. And that's why Allie is saying, and I'm saying, I agree 100%, that even though we do our absolute best to bring you accurate information, we are human. We do make mistakes. Please go check it out for yourself. And I know I'll speak for me, but I'm pretty sure Allie feels the same way. And so does MJ. If I do make a mistake, email me, tell me about it because I want to fix it.
I would rather know. Absolutely.
I want to fix it.
Just like with Dateline, when that came out, I told Jen immediately, like, I have to correct this because I mentioned that this came out on Dateline and it's not true that Brian sat down in the room. Or when my last live on the Koberger case, actually, I'm like fact checking real time. The people, the experts for the phone stuff did several interviews, and one of the people interviewing them kind of like misrepresented their words. And then in the next interview, they answer the question the other way. And I go back with everyone and we double check and we see, wait, they misrepresented what they said. Here's the direct quote, but here's the title. It doesn't match. Like we're constantly trying to make sure the facts are.
And I remember when Allie found it and she was like, oh my God, Jen. And that's the first thing when we usually, that's not usually the first thing out of her mouth. Usually it's, hey, how are you? What are you doing? What's going on with you? You doing okay? Yeah, everything's good. And then, oh my God, Jen. Or, oh my God, Allie. Both of us. That's how it is, you know?
I literally remember telling you, like, I told you, like, when we talk about this, I have to correct it. And I also got to tell Chasing because
absolutely.
And I told Jen, I have to make sure she knows that was not right because remember, she was like telling me that day, that's not possible. He couldn't have sat down. And I'm like, oh no, he did. Dateline mentioned it. And look, Dateline was right about all this other stuff. And blah, blah, blah.
And then come to find out, what do they say? There's no evidence they sat down, that he sat down, not for 1 second, not for 1 minute, not at all.
Yeah. And they were pissed that that was even put out. But again, that special prosecutor, I wonder what's going to happen with that. Like, will they continue to look into that even though there's
yes, because that is what happened there is a violation of the judge's orders. When a judge puts out a non-dissemination order and says, this is what's included in it, this is who's included in it, and it gets violated, they're going to get to the bottom of it, regardless of Koberger, because it has nothing really to do with Brian Koberger anymore. He's pled, but this is a violation of an order.
And it will put other things at risk too, like other cases these people were on and stuff. Right.
Correct. It's a
good.
problem.
Well, hopefully it's not like just pushed under the rug or something.
No, they'll investigate it. Will there be as much like media attention on it when it comes out, the end of the, what the results of the investigation are? I hope so. I hope so too. Because I think that I'd like to see what the end result is. I'd like to know who, there's been a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blame going around. And I would like to see at the end of the day with facts and evidence, just exactly who did what, when did they do it, how they did it, all the things. I want it.
Me too.
Just like that. That's,
you guys are so awesome, giving me and Bindi and Melissa tons of compliments. And I appreciate you guys. But I want to say Nikki was talking about another true crime channel she had bad experience with. Didn't name it or anything, which is good.
Good. Please do we? Yeah. We don't need to be. No, they like to. No, please.
Yeah. But she is saying, I did want to acknowledge her because she had said the internet's so toxic. My Facebook is private, my YouTube, she had said, I don't know which channels to even watch. I'm Nikki from Massachusetts. Nice to meet everyone. Nikki, listen, it's best to keep things private. Just, feel things out and go all over and experience, all the different kind of channels, but keep your private information private because there are lots of good people here, but there are lots of not good people here too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say this. It's been my experience on YouTube, just YouTube, that the good far outweighs the bad, but you hear about the bad more often. And I will also say this, every single time somebody goes live and you click on the live chat, the first thing that pops up is a message from YouTube telling you protect your privacy.
Yeah.
That's why when people go real life on YouTube, it's such a big deal because that's not how this app was. It wasn't meant for that. It was not meant for that. It's, and that's why it's such a big deal. It's not Facebook. Facebook absolutely wants you to use your government name, your government face. I know you all can't the things. You cannot.
That's bullshit.
You cannot. And that's their terms of service. But YouTube is more like, hey, the internet ain't safe. Okay. We don't know these people. You don't know these people. Protect your privacy. And that's why they encourage it, What I would suggest as far as this is how I think that you should treat YouTube the way that you would treat a relationship. Would you sit down when you're first meeting somebody, and just like a friend, and tell them your life story? No. You got to feel it out. You got to get to know them. Sometimes it's best to just people watch for a while. That's what I do.
Yep.
I will sit and watch a creator and watch their chat for a long time before I actually go in there and open up my big mouth. And even if I do open up my big mouth, a lot of times I'm just at the beginning, I just throw out a one-liner. And, and then not say nothing from another, and won't say nothing for the rest of the chat.
Just remember, believe half of nothing that you hear and half of what you see.
Absolutely.
Keep private, and you'll find good people. And yeah, I'm glad that you're here. And I wanted to say, look at Sprinkled Donuts comment. She said, you can tell the quality of a channel by the people in the chat. Alex, Bendy, Melissa have the most amazing people in their chats. And that is the damn truth. Let me tell you what. We've said forever, you guys are, you know, more than I do. You guys are so, you know, doctors, nurses, teachers, just the most incredible people out there of all professions that know so much about so many different things, and just so kind and loving. And I don't know how it happened, but I'm so freaking thankful for our little chats, because you guys are the best. You are what makes the channel.
Correct. I said that the other day too. Yes. It's not, I mean, it's not me and Allie and Melissa. It's y'all. Y'all are what makes the channel.
With the live chats, for sure. It
absolutely. You know, the only thing I bring to my, the only thing I bring is some music and some memes, gifts, you know, and I can throw down on an intro like nobody's business. But that took a long time for me to get there. But still, you know, you guys really are what make the community, and we're very, very grateful for all of you. Absolutely.
But, you know, I'm grateful for you too, and Melissa, and all. Like, you're very knowledgeable, dude, for real. Like, me, you have a lot to add, and you know a lot. No, you are. I swear to you, if I'm in a situation where I need help or need advice, like, a lot of times you're one of the people that I first think of, because you have just.
I've seen and done a lot of
young. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're still young, but you have been through a lot in life and experienced a lot. Raised 4 kids, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So
so when you guys are like, "Why is Bendy like this?" It's because of them. I raised 4 kids. That's why I can't act right. I used to be right. Thank you. Bendy is intro VIP. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But we're here because of you guys. Well, I'm thankful you guys are here. I ain't got no job. Well, not listen. If you don't have a job, you're just as badass as the ones who do. I just said that because we'll be talking about a subject, and the people in the chat sometimes will know so much more than me about whatever subject, like professional, different things like that. So that's all. You guys are.
TK in Texas. You're right. The first time I ever heard Jen, I was like, Florida, heck nah. That's a Texas accent. It is.
Grandma, you are not a geek. You are
not.
Sweet, wonderful woman. You guys check out her channel, and I'm dropping Bendy's again.
And watch Grandma Sherry in the chat, because Grandma Sherry be coming out with them one-liners too.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Bendy, for coming up with me, because this was fun and I appreciate it. I'm trying to get back
every time.
I'm trying to get back into it. I want to be on, like, at least during the weekdays every day.
Absolutely. I'm proud of you, and I will come and support that. We used to. Yeah, we were. Both of us.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to us.
But you've been doing a lot better than me, though, with that trial. I've came in there just at a few minutes at a time to support you, but it's not something I've followed. And when you hear about a case, that's what I was going to say. And you hear people that are like, it's been 5 trials. I'm just kind of like, well,
it's a lot. Like Cartman. It's like whenever you for somebody that's just learning about the Adelsons, it's like, fuck. It's so much. And it's very convoluted, and it's very twisty and turny and all of the things. But I've been following it for so long now that I feel like, bro, I need to see what's going to happen. I need to see how this ends. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is Donna going to testify? Because they got to do something. This defense is no defense. I mean, I can see that they're trying, but bruh, you
Right.
know.
Well, I'll come by and I'll share it for anybody who's
Oh, I
interested that wants
appreciate
to
that,
watch
babe.
it. I'll go ahead and share it tonight so you guys can hit notify me. If you see an upcoming video you want to see, if you hit notify me, it should like give you an alert when it starts. And then listen to Kelly here. I had to scroll back because look,
Oh
I made
my.
a joke in another chat when the creator asked, how many of us have ever had a black eye? I said, I've had a few black guys always looking for more. They got offended. She said, if I
Oh
would have said
my.
that, I thought it was hilarious. They asked me to watch my mouth.
Oh
Then she
my.
went on to say, I was like, if I would have said that and been to your Alex chat, they would have laughed.
Yeah,
Losers.
because we know you. Because we know you. We know that it's a joke. And that's the thing. You know, Allie and I take what we do seriously. It's not a joke to us, but also, you know, there are moments in true crime. Like, look, when Donna Adelson, y'all, all she did was walk down the tarmac. Like, they got her out of the gate, right? And then they had her walking, you know, through the airport down to the parking garage. It ain't like she walked 100 miles. She didn't even maybe walk a mile. This heffalump acted like she was just parched. Can I have a drink of water? I'm just so thirsty. I just get the drink of water. And I'm like, Donna, sit down and shut up. Bossing everybody around. Can you escort him outside? Donna, he is a whole dentist. I think he got into the damn airport okay. I'm pretty sure he can exit the airport okay. There's only it's the freaking Miami International Airport, okay? There are signs everywhere in multiple languages, and there are pictures and great big ass signs that say exit. I'm
Is
pretty
she
sure he
dramatic
can
like
do it.
that?
No, bossy. It was bossy.
Oh, okay.
I expected her to like, the only time she really lost her shit is when they tried to take her phone. She snatched that phone back away from that cop. I mean, woo.
Oh, look, I fell in love because TK had just said she couldn't have watched Boswell without us.
Oh, I
And then
appreciate that.
Grandma Sherry said, I fell in love with Bendy's humor during Sarah Boone. Facts with levity to relieve the heaviness.
Oh, I appreciate that. Boone's up to some baloney again.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, she's in family court, Allie, and she's pro se. So she got an opportunity
God.
to cross-examine Brian, and she just tortured everybody in that room. Just absolutely, just absolutely tortured.
Wait, what is the family court for, though? What does she have to, like,
because
lose?
he doesn't want to pay her alimony anymore, number one, and he'd also like to limit how many times she calls the house because it's on his dime. She wants to have access to their son the same way that she wants to have access to her appellate attorney 25/8. I know that there's only 24 hours a day and 7 days in a week, but for Sarah, that ain't good enough. She gonna need 25/8. You better make an extra day and an extra hour for Sarah Boone. And she's 25, and she just driving everybody nuts.
They should never have let her cross-examine him.
Well, she's representing herself, so she had that right. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. She cannot have her son at the prison, and here's the thing about Sarah. I should, she excels at everything. And you know what? That includes I don't know how she could have gotten worse, but this heifer has gotten worse. If y'all thought that her voice was annoying in the courtroom before, no. Sarah Boone said, hold my hoops and hold my slides. I don't know how she managed to do it. She's yellier. It's more of a squawk and a screech. She's a freaking nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine how was that streamed?
I think that I'm not sure but it is on Tanika's 2 cents. She has it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put in the description warning. The last 30 minutes
are bullshit.
is just chit chat.
Yeah. Or hell, just go ahead and edit out the last 30 minutes.
No.
You were lucky enough to be here live. You were lucky enough.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna let you go. I was supposed to be off here like
Yeah,
a
I
while
know. I'm
ago.
always dragging it out, but
No,
I
it ain't
miss
you.
talking true crime with you. I really do. We
I
have
do
the best
too.
time.
Well, there's a new case I want to talk about. Like, if you want to
Ooh.
join,
Yes, of course.
they were talking
Always.
about it in chat, and Tess had sent it. It's about that cheerleader who her baby was.
Oh,
Have you
yes,
seen that? And
yes.
she was arrested.
I saw it in the chat. This is the first time hearing about it.
She was, if I'm not mistaken, because I've just looked at it very briefly, the baby was found deceased, like in a closet, like put, like,
Oh no.
yeah, and she's been arrested and stuff, and yeah, there's some more to
Lakin
it. I'll send you
Snelling.
some.
That really breaks my heart. It really does. That's so unnecessary. There are so many resources out there for
I know, and so many
teenagers and
people
people
who
who aren't
maybe.
ready to be parents.
Oh my God, Jen, do you know, like I just know so many people who want kids and can't have them, who maybe have one, but can't have another one for health issues, or never had kids, would love to take in. There are so many people out there who would give their
There
left
are.
arm for the
There are.
opportunity to be a parent.
There are. And I think part of a reason that girls do it, I think hide it when they're young like that, is because they don't think their parents will understand. Let me just tell you, all you teenagers out there that are listening, the fact of the matter is that your parents were once teenagers too. And at least give it a shot. At least try to talk to them. You don't know until you do it. Now, if they react badly, they react badly, and you can be like, I knew they were going to act badly. But at least try. And they might they might have an immediate, like, oh my God, and, horrible reaction. Okay. Because it's a big deal to hear that from your kid. But most parents love their kids and want the best for them. At least give them a shot. Don't, have your baby, in a bathroom, for the love of Pete. That's not safe for you. It's not safe for the baby. And these situations can always be worked out.
Well, that's why those, like we're at the fire department, those little boxes and stuff like that are so good.
My ex-stepmother worked to have that, the safe haven. She worked on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool, because I don't know, it would save a lot of lives.
She has a foundation, and it's out of Florida. It's called Garden of Angels, and she buries some of these babies that were found this way.
Aww.
That's her foundation, but she worked with lawmakers to lobby this what is it, safe place to
Haven.
is it safe haven, is that what it's called? It's been a long time. She worked with lawmakers to get the safe haven, so that there's a safe, this could happen, this wouldn't happen, that babies would be safe, that these women didn't have to worry about being prosecuted because they surrendered their baby. So
my God. I always wonder how people don't know they're pregnant. Like Grandma Sherry said, someone had a baby at Burning Man. She didn't know she was pregnant. And
I've been pregnant 4 times, and I knew each and every single time.
Oh my God. Before I knew immediately, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm super sensitive or what, but even then, like once you get to like 3-4 months, by the way, my first pregnancy, I didn't look pregnant until like 8 months or 7-8 months. I was very small, the first one.
Me too.
It's like because the second one, I think you show faster, but a lot of people. So I can get that. But once you get to a certain size, you can feel them. You can
feel the baby moving. There's nothing in I can never. I asked when I was pregnant the first time, before you feel the baby move, right? What is it going to feel like? And it was described to me as gas. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie. I've had gas before. Gas does not feel like that. It's a very distinct feeling that only happens when you're pregnant. It's not, it's not any, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah. You're 100% right. All right. I have 4 and knew every single time. Yeah. Like they think it's gas. Grandma Sherry said.
I don't understand how that. No.
Because, like, I can see
No.
that at first because it does kind of feel like a rumbling. But then once they're big enough, they're like kicking your ribs and like
Yes. Yes. Do you know, you guys, that I couldn't tie my
put on your
shoes
bladder.
the last month of my pregnancy because of with my oldest daughter, because her head was up like up underneath kind of like my boob area. And she
And you
she
couldn't
came,
bend over.
no, I couldn't. And thank God I had a C-section because she was breech. And I've said, I tell her all the time, I'm not shocked at this behavior. You came out showing your butt. I'm not shocked that you're doing this. This is just exactly on brand for you. But first she came out. And, you know, but I like and then my oldest son, oh, he was constantly pulling and like flipping around in there, like pulling the umbilical cord, flipping around. I mean, when I saw, because my mom worked at the same hospital that I gave birth at, and she worked in the pathology department, which is where they send your placenta and your umbilical cord. So she showed me my umbilical cord. That thing looked like it was so like twisted because of all the times he had twisted around. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it was like a jump rope or something. But or when they roll over, like they do a little somersault, and you can't quite make out unless they kick at the same time, but you can't quite make the distinction between the head and the butt. And there's just like this wave that rolls across your belly. It's the oddest. It used to freak me out a little bit when they would do that, the way that it looked. But there's no mistaking. Bottom line is there's no mistaking that for gas. I've had gas. That's not what that feels like at all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you echo. I was trying to see if I have those gifted memberships.
Of course you do. It's the first of the month, babe.
I
go
know,
to your channel.
Well, do they renew I'm on my channel now, but I'm about to do it. But do they renew like
at the beginning?
Of every month? Okay.
On the first of every month. Yeah.
I knew you got them a month, but I didn't know if it was like
no. It's not like your like how your subscription or your membership renews. It renews on the day that you got it in the first place. Like everybody's is different.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, these renew on the first of every month.
Yay! Ooh, awesome.
Good job.
What did I just remove? Oh my God, I'm doing.
I don't see anything. Hold on, let me see. Let me look and see.
Hopefully, it didn't go through. It doesn't look like I almost removed preschool granny, but I think I did.
Oh, for Pete's sake! No, you didn't.
Can't be doing that.
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Melissa, Scott H, Mosma, Arena, Nettie, D, Petunia, Harley Quinn, Crystal, and Grandma Sherry and Tracy. That sounds like more than 10. Hold on. 1, 2, 3.
There she goes. She's going to count line by line.
8, 9, 10. 11. Wait a minute. How many got given? Wait a second. 1, 2.
Hold on. Let me check the math.
Okay. 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a minute. Will you count?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. Melissa K is the 10th one.
See, mine says that I gave 6. Okay, it says I gave out 5 to Tracy, Grandma, Crystal, Petunia. Oh, wait, the 5th one is D underneath. And then Nettie. Okay, yeah, I see. Thank you. I'm like, how did it give 11? I need to get off here. I'm getting slap happy.
Oh, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 5. Now you're making me recount. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, no, I counted right. I know how to count to 10.
11. Well, thank you guys for being here. And no, thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Allie. You guys are welcome. But also thank you to YouTube because they give us those to give out.
Absolutely. I do it every month. I do it every single month.
Me too. All right. Well, thank you for joining me for this conversation. It's a serious one. Don't forget to check out the timeline if you guys are interested. But I'm glad that we also just got to chat for a bit after.
Me too. We needed this.
Yeah, we did. And with the chat too.
Absolutely. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me, Allie. You guys be good in the chat. I'll check y'all later.
Thank you for being here. Bye, guys. Have a good night.